Okay guys, the stitching is all marked and punched with an awl, and now we're going to dye it. So I'm going to take my leather dye here, just in case you guys want to know what brand it is, and I'm going to dip our little felt brush thingamajigger, came with it, and I also bought another bag, and we're just going to go right over it. Don't worry about it being too dark in one area and not dark in another. It comes out perfectly even with black. Gonna get the edges. Even though we're probably gonna go over the edges again and sand them, might as well just go over it once. Okay, now I don't really like to go inside too far. I just like to get the general opening, so then the knife isn't really sliding against all that black. Get the back real good. Okay, now as you can hopefully see, it's not really shiny or anything, and after we're done with this and it dries, we're going to take a piece of fur and we're going to buff it out. So let's just finish this up here. Gonna get a little bit more dye, and we're also gonna dye part of the inside here. So just where the belt is seen, or that belt loop, that's where we're gonna dye. Okay, looking pretty good. And it's about done, and just give this about 18-20 minutes and then you can buff it out. I wouldn't wait too long because then the buff doesn't look quite as nice from my experience. Just gonna go over everything again a little bit, just put a nice coat on, nice deep coat, and then we're just gonna let it dry and buff it out. So there you have it, and I'll meet you back at the next step. Be right back. Okay guys, it's been drying, put the fan on it and everything, and now we're gonna buff it out. So, got a piece of fur here, got it trimmed down pretty good, and that's gonna act as our buffer. So we're just gonna rub this down pretty good, and you can already see it's starting to shine. Now the rest of the finishing coat is gonna come from that leather finisher. I don't have it next to me right now, so I can't really show you again, but this puts a nice luster on. Just make sure you get all the crevices and edges and everything, and as you can see, it's starting to look pretty nice. There's the side that hasn't been buffed, the side that has. A little bit of a water stain there. That'll come out. So, just get everything nice and buffed. For the most part, that little bit came out. As it dries more, then it'll look a lot better. So, it's looking good. I'm just going to finish buffing it, and I'll bring you guys right back to the next step, which will be sewing the two sides. And then after that, we're just gonna finish poking the holes through the third piece, and then we're gonna stitch through that. So I'm probably gonna use white stitching for this, and yeah, instead of black stitching. I think the white stitching looks pretty good. I got one right here for my ladybug that I used white stitching for. I think it looks pretty nice. So just gonna finish. Put a nice buff on this, and then I'll bring you guys right back. Stay tuned. Okay guys, time to start sewing. I already started the first side, and now we're going to do the opposite side. So you're going to need some pretty thick needles. These are blunted so they're not like sharp and pointy, and they get a nice big eye on them if we can get in there. Okay, so got some thick waxed thread. I'm gonna grab about 2 feet of that, 1.5 2 feet, and cut that off. And for threading, we're gonna use both of the needles for sewing, and to thread it, you're just gonna put it, see it zoomed in there, you're just gonna put it right through the eye, bend it, and twist. You're done with one, then go to the other, put it through the eye, and twist. Okay, so for sewing, you're going to start from the top, stick your needle in. It's good to have a pair of pliers to pull this stuff through. And you're going to bring it to about halfway. So both of the lengths should be about the same. So you'll have one from the top and one from the bottom. You're going to take the one that's still on top and you're going to put it through the next hole. Get my pliers. Just make sure everything's still even. And now we're going to go from the bottom with the opposite one. So we're going to go through that same exact hole that we just went through. If you guys don't get the hang of this, you might want to watch the video over again. Okay, so you're going to put it through that same hole that the one on the top just went through. Then you're going to pull it out. Okay, make sure they're both tight. And then you're going to stick the one that's on top again through the next hole. And then pull that through. Make sure it's nice and tight. Take the other one that's farther behind, right here. Go through the same hole again. Hopefully you guys see a process there. Don't want to cut myself. Go through the hole. I accidentally just pulled my needle off, but oh well. Can redo that. Go through the same hole from the bottom. As you can see, same hole. And we're gonna pull that through. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this up and then I'll just bring you back and do the next step. Okay, so I finished stitching. I just tied it and burned the ends, just like that, and dabbed them down a little bit so they don't come untied. And now the next step is to take your glue, apply your glue to the area that you didn't dye. Put a little bit over those knots that you tied. Okay. Now get your leather lined up and press down. Okay. So just all the glue that comes out the sides, just wipe down with a little towel or something. Make sure you keep everything lined up the way you want it, so nothing comes out. Hold it down for about 5 minutes at the most, and then you can proceed to the next step, which is taking your awl, wherever I have it at, right here, and you're just going to punch the holes through till the bottom. Okay, so I'll bring you guys right back. Okay guys, so I went ahead and punched the holes and sewed it. It's nothing too spectacular, so I just thought I'd go ahead and do it. So basically, it's all finished up. All I need to do is apply the finish on. But just a little thing about the finish real quick. This particular finish makes it really shiny, but it also rubs and like smudges really quickly. So one thing that I recommend is like a beeswax type finish, where it's just like a wax and you rub it all on it and then wipe it off. That's probably the best that you can get, but seeing as though I have this is what I'm going to use. And since this is a liquid, I'm not going to apply it inside because fuzz and hair and everything flies around. So I'm going to do this outside, and I'm not going to bring you guys with. But just keep that in mind if you're going to apply a liquid finish, because it'll dry and be really sticky and everything will stick to it like fuzz and whatnot. So that's basically the last step, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that and I shall bring you guys back. But that's how it fits like a glove. It's not gonna come out over there. Seems to be fitting pretty nice. This Benchmade feels pretty nice without that pocket clip. It feels like a totally different knife. Okay, so just gonna go ahead and do that. Okay guys, I decided not to use this finish this time, and I decided to use Ballistol because I've been using that on my wallets a lot to keep all the leather looking nice, and that's been working pretty good. And I kind of like that matte type of finish on the leather, so it's soaked in the Ballistol pretty good, and I think it looks pretty nice. So that's basically the finished sheath. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, I'm probably gonna make a lanyard for this and make it a little bit easier to pull out. But that's all the sheaths that I've made so far: Ladybug, Dragonfly, Small Sbenza, and Mini Griptilian. I'll probably make one for the Delica and maybe the Persistence, but I don't really think the Persistence is worth making a sheath for. But if you guys have any questions, want to know anything, then please ask. But I think it turned out pretty nice for something that I did behind the camera most of the time, trying to cut everything out. Kind of did a few boo-boos because I wasn't paying attention and looking through the viewfinder most of the time. But that's the finished thing, so try out sheath making if you guys are interested. It's pretty fun. This kind of took me a day or two, seeing as though I was stopping and starting and pretty busy. So that's about it, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching, guys.